All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on the 1010XL app. Make sure you download that app when you get the chance. You might be hearing us on Facebook Live, of course, on 1010XL's page, mine as well. And when it's all said and done, it'll be all over everywhere, every platform that you listen to or watch podcasts, whether that's Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, what have you. It's all across the board. And also cut up all throughout social media. So you see little clips, not only of this show, but all the shows that are done right here in the 1010XL podcast studios. My show, of course, always brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. I love Team Tommy Mac. They are some of the best businesses out there. We had the hot Azar sausage in our white chicken chili this week. Holy wow, what an addition. It was like a last-second thing, too. My wife's like, hey, we should throw some. I was like, oh, my gosh, yes. And all we had was hot left, and, man, it's just perfect. Absolutely. But, man, we'll talk about them all throughout the show or during the show. I want to thank everybody who came out last night for Tommy Mac's Happy Hour. It was awesome. Brian Saxton. First of all, you can close your eyes and you know it's him because of the voice, right? That's such a distinguished voice. But the story of how he got the gig with the Jags is quite amazing. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's welcome in and say good morning to my esteemed producer, the young buck, Grammage. What's up, Grammage? Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
We're doing an early show because we got beep to do, don't we, later today?
Correct.
Yeah, so you got to stick and move, be a little flexible.
Busy man out here.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, and the good thing about podcasts, you can do it at any time, right? So big weekend this weekend, man. This is it, right? And I really mean this. And I'm going to root for him regardless. But win and you're in. Lose, you really don't belong. I'm sorry. You don't win this game and take care of business. I don't think you belong in the playoffs. I don't. Now, Gren, if you get in, however you get in, if you don't take care of business and beat the Titans, I'm still going to pull for you. I want you to, okay, because when you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, but I'm not going to expect too much. I'm not. Now, you win on the road with the condition that it is. Look, they're not a very good team. Their record's not very good, but they will come to play. They got enough playmakers to hurt you on both sides of the ball. I know Simmons isn't in there, so they're depleted. So are we to a certain degree. Hopefully we're getting our guys back healthy and strong. But you go up there and win, and now I'm like, okay, we're getting ready. It's playoff ready. Right? You got to get playoff ready. Isn't it amazing we're having deja vu, but this time up in Nashville? Came down to the last game last year, right? Just to get in to the tournament. Same thing. It's the same thing. You got to take care of business. We'll talk about that. It's going to be a great weekend, man. Great weekend of games. And, of course, our Jags. We're going to talk a little Pro Bowl today. We'll go over the stats as well. We'll look at the Tennessee Titans. So I said, again, not a very good football team. But I got to tell you, so last night, so Brian Saxton, of course, if you're a Jag fan, you know who he is. He's a long time. He's the OG voice of the Jags. He came in. Him and I are the exact same age. I never really knew that. I thought he was always a little bit older than me. And I told him last time, I'm like, you're just more mature than I was at that age. But he came in at the same time, 25 years of age. He was in Kansas, in Wichita. OKV, the company that owned OKV owned the same station in Kansas. They had an opening. Hey, do you want to go to Jacksonville and just, be on the news? He's absolutely all radio. He's like, absolutely. So then he gets there and it's like, hey, do you mind going over and maybe doing some pre and post game in the coaches show for the Jags? And then it came like, hey, do you want to audition for the broadcast team? Being the number one guy and doing the play-by-play and calling games. He's called over 400 games in his career, which is pretty wild. NFL games. Anyway, so he's like, yeah. They're like, all right, we're gonna need a tape of you doing this. He's like, man, I haven't. He's like, okay, I'll find a tape. And he's sitting there to himself, going, man, I haven't done this since high school. So he literally gave them. He called a game. He was in high school. It was 8-man football. State championship in Kansas, and his team was in it or something. And the guy, he was interning or something at a local station, but he was the play-by-play. He was everything. He was the caller for the team. Well, for the championship game, he had to climb up on a water tower, have the antenna. He fixed the antenna, had the antenna connected, and he sat up there and called the game for this championship game. And that's the tape he gave Wayne Weaver.
Wow.
And that got him the gig.
Wow.
Out of 100 people or more that he's like, it was a big gig. I mean, you're going to be the voice of the team, brand new team, Florida, big deal. Thought it was so cool. I never do that stuff. Like, Brian, that's so cool, man. And he did this little, it's funny. He's like, so I asked him about, how'd you get into it? He's like, man, I've been calling games since I was a kid in the backseat of my parents' car. He goes, think about it. Like, radio was always, before you could see it, radio was a theater of the mind. You had to envision it. So he went on this little diatribe of calling a game. He's like, just think about it. Like, it was the real good ones, they would describe it to a T. Off tackle, breaks through, the monstrous hit. He's there by a finger. I mean, I can't even do it. It was like you're listening to the radio back in the 1970s. It was really, really cool. One of our favorite guests. So, all of them are great. We love them, but that's what you get at the happy hour, man. It's fun telling stories and having a good time. And I'm drinking Heinekens, and Bees is having fun, and we just have a good time. But anyway, that'll be up and added. So, look, let's talk expectations, shall we? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. I mean, look, we had very high expectations going into the year. I'm getting ready to jump on Jaguars today. I got to ask Dempsey, because we did the win-loss prediction, at the beginning of the year. I forget what I'm at. I thought it was maybe at 12-5, something like that. Between 10-7 and 12-5, I think, is where I ended up having them. But I want to, because we'd go through each one like, are they going to win this? Obviously things change, right? They do. No one thought Houston was going to be a team, right? No one thought we'd go 1-4 against the Big Five. You do maybe 3-2, 2-3, something like that, right? Things obviously change. But think about expectations. So, look, we believe, regardless of the story, because every team's got a story, injuries, guys not playing well, guys going in a funk, something off the field hat, whatever. They are what they are. They are a borderline wild card playoff team. They are a team that could win their division and has, and hopefully will this Sunday. I got them winning, by the way, so this isn't like I'm not believing in them. I want to see it, trust me, but maybe the expectation was way too high. Maybe because I remember even on Jaguars today, we're like, hey, if they don't get past the divisional round, the season's, it's good, but it'll be disappointing. Now we're hoping even just, you know what I mean? Like maybe the expectation. And I was one of them. If I had them at 12-5, that's pretty. I'm assuming they're going to have a 12-5 year. So maybe that's part of it, right? I mean, that happens a lot in life and business and whatever. Managing those, like one side is expecting this, the other side's expecting something different. You know what I mean? And you don't get blindsided or you don't get too emotional about it because that's what you expected. And look, like I've said on here before, Grammage, if they get into the playoffs and lose, let's just say, however, it's still it's a successful year. 2 years in a row. I mean, look, if you win the division, 2 years you've won the division under Doug Peterson. That's freaking phenomenal from a 30,000-foot view. We expect more. We've watched the individual plays. We critique them because we want more. The 4-game losing stretch really sucked. Even if they won just one of those, just one, and they could have. There were chances to win, those games or some of them. So maybe that's it, though. If we had, think about this. I'm sorry, Nate, I'll let you go. If we all said before the beginning of the year, you know what? We're expecting about 9-8, 10-7. Look, they didn't upgrade the team, right? They brought everybody back. We like the draft, but it's okay. Juwan Taylor, okay, he's gone, but I like the kid out of Oklahoma. It'll be, but you know what? We're about a 9-8, 10-17. We'd all be really ecstatic right now. We'd be on the other side. I'm more like, I hope I got them winning, but I got to see it too. I'm not getting convoluted by the win last week. You can look, they dominated them, and you're supposed to do that to that kind of a team. That does give you a little juice. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you got to keep that in perspective too, all right? And even beating Tennessee, I think on the road with everything on the line, that makes you playoff ready. Not that they're 5-11. You know what I mean? It's still a task to go up there and win this game. It's not, nothing's easy, obviously. in the NFL especially. But going up there and winning this game, then you come home 10-7, hosting a playoff game. I believe you're playoff ready in that scenario.
I agree. And
did you even hear what I said?
Yes.
Did you fall asleep during it?
No.
Or it was like me in a Coughlin meeting, like the lights are out. Coach, stop.
I do agree that this is a good. I mean, we said this on Tuesday. In my opinion, outside of the fact that the team they're playing is not playoff caliber,
yep.
For the Jaguars' perspective, this is a playoff game.
Yeah,
in my opinion, you need to go up there.
Getting them playoff ready for sure.
You're right. And,
same thing.
And I know it's technically not. I know you could lose and still make it, but everything you just said echoes the fact that I think they need to win the game, and then you take your chances after that when you're in the real playoffs.
Well, if you lose and Baltimore doesn't play their players, and then Lamar's not playing supposedly, Pittsburgh's going to win that game. And if Pittsburgh wins and we didn't beat Tennessee, we're out.
Right.
Out. That's going to be a major disappointment when you were 8-3 at one time.
Correct.
No question about it.
Correct.
In my opinion.
Back to the expectations thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
If we had sat in here, because we were doing the pod back then, if we had sat in here after Urban Meyer was fired and after they lost to the Titans in Nashville, that game, 20-0, that was Urban's last game.
That's
Remember,
right.
he and Vrabel had the half-second handshake, right?
Yep.
If someone had come in from the future when you and I were doing this show and said the next 2 years, Jags are going to make the playoffs both years.
Yep. Right.
Say,
and win their division.
Right.
Yeah.
And right, exactly. We'd say, hell yeah.
I'm right.
But where do I sign?
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
So that you're absolutely right.
But it changes. That's what I'm saying. Like
100%.
Maybe we got to temper the expectations.
100%. But sometimes you got to be able to elevate yourself outside of the forest to see everything and be able to see the forest from the trees and say, hey, man, this is a franchise that's been a laughingstock for a very long time.
Right.
And they've become 2-time division champions. And
that says a
you
lot.
Take your chances
No
in the
doubt,
playoffs.
man. It's going to be
a big
awesome.
deal.
And they got momentum going in.
And I think part of this, with the expectations and with some of the disappointment, and you said that the fact that in the offseason they really didn't do as much as a lot of fans would have liked, and a lot of media was perhaps saying they should have. I think this kind of goes a little bit back to the age-old thing of, and I know you've heard this a million times, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Okay.
Fair. They would never admit to this, of course.
No,
and they subconsciously probably don't even think they're doing this. But I think Doug and Trent might have kind of thought, okay, we're sort of leaving. We can sort of like pick up where we left off at the end of the year. And again, they never admit to that. But do they almost think, okay, we're kind of here. We have young guys like Trayvon Walker. We expect to get better.
Yep.
We expect Trevor to get better. We're only going to elevate based on how we ended last season.
Yep.
When that's not true, you got to start from zero.
Yeah.
And I think they should have done more in the offseason in certain positions.
Yeah.
Because there's certain weaknesses that are really hurting them right now.
Well, yeah. And remember, when was it last year, the year before, talking about the lack of nose tackles on this team, really beefy. If you're running a 3-4, you got to have the nose. And we weren't having it. Doug didn't seem that concerned, or Doug and Trent didn't seem that concerned about it. But, look, it reminds me of, remember in 2008 when we put all our cards in for Derek Harvey, and Quentin Groves, God rest his soul, was the second-round pick, and we thought that's all we needed because we were a tough team in 2007, man. Are you kidding me? And then it just didn't work out. I forget how it all went down that year, but and Derek he was a great athlete, big, strong, fast, but he wasn't a pass rusher. He didn't have a bull rush like Trayvon had, at least Trayvon had that. You know what I mean? Like, that was his foundation, and now he's developing into something even way more than that. But Derek didn't really have that. That wasn't really his game. I think he beat people at Florida. And trust me, when they went at, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Yeah, we need that. Because I think Reggie Hayward was done. He hurt his lower leg or something, right? So they needed to replace that. Yeah,
Reggie Hayward.
Oh, phenomenal.
Great.
I loved him. Great attitude, very athletic, could rush a pass or play the run. he was bad to the bone. But, yeah, so, look, again, go up there and win, and then the expectations change again. I mean, I'll like the momentum. I will. I think if you go up there and take care of Tennessee and come home. Now, I don't really care if it's a decisive victory. I mean, I don't want it like a 1-point game and you got to win on but I'll take it. I'll take it however you get it, because that means you're hosting a game, and you fans deserve that, and it'll be great. And they will have some momentum finding a way to win, because it is hard to win in the NFL. And let's be honest, there's a lot with this game if you're Tennessee. Derrick Henry, free agent after this season. Maybe his last game as a Titan.
I think it's almost for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, someone's going to take him, of course.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
But, the game's changing.
They should have traded
They want
him
McCaffreys and ETNs over big, powerful Derrick Henrys that can take it to the house. He's killed us over the years, man. Unbelievable. I was listening to Primetime, I think, yesterday. They were talking like when he's up for the Hall, all his highlights are going to be against the Jags when he was running wild.
Well, when he shouts out Yuli in his Hall of Fame speech, he needs to shout out the Jaguars as well for giving him half his stats.
But anyway, so he's going to be jacked. They're all going to be. The offensive line's not very good. I mean, they're just not. They average 4 yards a carry. Henry's at 3.9, but they've 62 sacks given up by this offensive line of Tennessee. We'll get into the stats in just a minute. But look, again, it's a great position to be in. Control your destiny, right? Beat the Titans, control your destiny, and then let's see what happens with the first round of the playoffs. That would be fantastic to be able to say, like we just said, it would be fantastic to say 2-time division champs in just 2 years, Doug Peterson. How about that? That's pretty bad to the bone. I guess we'll find out around 12 noon if Trevor's full go. I did see him. I mean, you can only see so much. The media is only allowed in there so much. He threw a little bit. I did see a quote by him, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that he still got some pain when throwing. So maybe that subsides by Sunday, and he's got the zip. Look, if they got to go to Beathard, obviously I'm comfortable and confident. I'd still pick them to win, whether it's Trevor or not. But I'd love to see Trevor back if he's healthy, if he's cleared, and if he personally feels like he's good to go. Again, you can win with Beathard, and maybe that's a coach's decision. Hey, why don't you sit another week and just look at it? I like what Doug said about, it was good for him to look at it from a 30,000-foot view. We all know what that means, right? A little macro, like instead of the intricacies of play-by-play and being out there and getting the crap kicked out of you, basically. It's a lot easier when the crap. It's funny, like, listening to the shows. Beathard did a great job. He did. He did what a backup QB is supposed to do. There's no doubt about that. And he's capable of getting it done. We even talked about it. The timing. It seemed quicker. Well, look, coming off the bench is a lot different than really getting knocked around all year. And Trev, you cannot. One thing you cannot deny, he's tough as nails. Number two, he's gotten the crap kicked out all year long. I mean, he's had injury after injury, head injury, shoulder, lower leg, ankle, knee, and that doesn't even count all the times that he got really drilled making throws. And he'll stand in there. He will. I think he's before last week's game, the week before, I thought he was a little broken. I felt like he wasn't, and I don't blame him. You're not trusting your receivers. You guys are off on timing. It's not going to the right spot. You're getting hit. It's a pain in the ass. So, maybe a week off helps. We'll see who starts. Let's talk Pro Bowl real quick. Congratulations to Josh Allen and to Russ Matzik, long snapper. Way to go. I made a comment about, and someone made a really good follow-up comment on Twitter when I said, the Pro Bowl, and it's the only Pro Bowler in my house, I've said this before, is my wife. All right, she went to the Pro Bowl on behalf of the Roar back after the '98 season. All right, so I'm not a Pro Bowler, and I understand that. But I don't think fans the vote should count. I get it. If you're the NFL, well, yeah, the fans, but I don't know. It becomes a popularity contest, right?
You can't. Sorry.
Hang on, just let me finish real quick. So you can't. I don't know. And it works both ways because one person. That's how we got Matzik in from the fan vote. I'm sitting there thinking, well, I bet you his peers think he's pretty darn good, or he wouldn't be in there at all, regardless of the fan vote. I mean, how many people know long snappers throughout the league, unless you're your own fans? And I get that, and I think that's great that he's in. And congratulations again to Ross. But one person followed up and said, well, then if the fans count in the Pro Bowl vote, maybe the Pro Bowl shouldn't matter when you're talking about Hall of Fame careers. And I think that's a really damn good point. I'm sorry I don't have your handle handy, no pun intended. But I said, you know what? You're right. That's a great point. Look, all pro is what? It's the players, the coaches, and the writers, okay, who cover the team. That is more important from an individual, award standpoint to the Pro Bowl, okay? But regardless, you make it, it's an awesome honor, so we'll congratulate everybody. The biggest snub is Aluakin to me. I mean, not only leading or the tackles, big plays, sacks, interception for touchdown, right? Who made it? The two dudes from Baltimore ahead of him, Queen and the guy from Chicago that
Roquan?
they brought in. Roquan, yeah.
Roquan Smith, yeah.
Did they're both the first team?
So.
I think so. Look, they're really good players on a really good defense, but I don't know. Did any of them take a pick to the house? You know what I mean? That's a massive play. He's got 3.5 sacks or 2.5 sacks, number of tackles for loss, a number of tackles. Ingram, look, 3 TDs probably hurt him from the national voting. 8.5 yards per catch. Hey, we love him. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I hope he does. I don't know if he'll get there, but maybe he breaks Jimmy Smith's single-season record for amount of receptions. That'd be fantastic. Records are meant to be broken. Josh Allen already broke one, and that's absolutely incredible. So I can see why maybe Ingram doesn't make it because of the lack of touchdowns. Remember, it took him a while to get a touchdown, and now he's got 3. Again, big weapon for us, but maybe And look, Kelsey's number 1, regardless if he's fat and slow right now. Yeah, I said it. He's sluggish, that guy. Last game I watched, he could barely break a tackle. He had no... Remember, I've said it before, like, he reminds me, when he's in good shape and his mind's right, when he would catch the ball and head upfield, he looked like a point guard driving through traffic.
Yeah, that's a good call.
You know what I mean? He really did. The way his body leaned, the way he moved, he looked like he was just weaving through, traffic, going to the hole.
He almost
looks
like he's about to pass the ball.
Right, yeah. And he does. He did that once, right?
Will, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, yeah. So, and look, he's the most popular guy. So, and he's still really good, obviously, but he did look a little... Women weak in legs. Don't forget about that one. And then who are the other tight ends in the AFC? That would be above Ingram. I don't have
Andrews,
it in front of me.
But he got hurt.
What's that?
Mark Andrews, but he got hurt.
Andrews is great. Yeah, he would have been there. He would have been number 1. I'm trying to think who we got. Buffalo, no. Well, Buffalo, Dalton.
Dalton Kincaid's pretty good. I don't know about Pro Bowl level yet. Ingram's better than Kincaid right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he will be forever, but.
Well, nonetheless, I think Aluakin should be, and I think Ingram should be right there, and then we'll figure out whoever makes the Super Bowl. Maybe it's us. You never know once you get into the playoffs. But I'll tell you this, and this is why I don't think fans should vote. Trevor Lawrence should not be an alternate. He didn't have a Pro Bowl year at all. I'm sorry. I love the kid. I want him to be our guy. He is our guy. I expect really big things out of him moving forward. But 19 touchdowns and 12 picks and all the turnovers, I mean, come on. That's not Pro Bowl. And I know we all want our guys to go to the Pro Bowl. I get it, but I don't know. That was one. I was like, what? And by the way, Logan Cook, maybe, he's a guy that you can make an argument for. He's one of the better, if not one of the best punters in the league. There's no doubt about that. But congrats to Josh. Congrats to Ross. Congrats to the alternates. Look, ETN, his touchdowns definitely help him. His yards per carry is not very impressive at all. I mean, as a team, they're not. And he's at 3.8. But he's got 56. What did I read? Or what did I write down? He's got how many 53 receptions. And another touchdown. He's got a lot of touchdowns. So look, hey, hopefully they all get in, and we could say they're all in, and that'd be fantastic. But we will We'll see how that shakes down. All right, are you ready for some stats, brother?
Of course.
Hey, tomorrow night's going to be fun to watch, by the way. Tomorrow day and night. Pitt at Baltimore, and then Houston at Indy. I think Houston's going to take care of Indy.
You're not going to be dialed into Gator basketball against Kentucky?
Oh, man, no. Jeez. I'm going to miss that one. But are the Gators any good at basketball?
They're good this year, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But
I'll watch come March stuff. I like it after the.
It is a great weekend of NFL though coming up. Like
it is. Those games are big.
Really excited to see like the entire league.
And then the Sunday night game will be a good nightcap.
Oh, Bills
Buffalo,
Dolphins.
Miami. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Nice. Yeah.
Hey, Buffalo, look, if they get hot, they could be a problem in the playoffs. There's no doubt. It's all how you finish. To me, it is. It's all how you finish and how the engine's running smooth. You know what I mean? Like, I always, look, when we went to Denver, I don't want to always bring it back, but when we went to Denver, they took a lot of time off prior to that game. They didn't play their starters, I don't think, in the final week because they were the number one seed. They didn't play in the wild card. They did, and then it was like 3 weeks. Now, granted, they started off strong, but I don't know. I think there's something to that. I'd rather keep playing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want the break unless I'm so banged up that I just need a week and then I'll just roll with my chances. I get that, but
like if the Jags are in position, momentum. If the Jags are in position to do something like that, which they're not, like Trevor would benefit right now, I think from an extra week or two to be, but like I don't think Travis Etienne should just not play for 2 weeks or that
or the line.
Right.
We need that line. By the way, Walker Little and Ezra Cleveland went full speed, I guess. They were full participants in practice yesterday, so that's a good sign. Cam's still my left tackle. You need him. You need him. I love the attitude. He brings that. We've always talked about that. He's the enforcer. Every team needs an enforcer, and I like that. The guy that's on top of the food chain's our enforcer. They do have it made, don't they? I mean, if I was Baselli's size and all that, I'd be the enforcer too. You know what I mean? Be throwing everybody out of the bar. Imagine being a bouncer. I was a bouncer, but only at like 6'2", like 220, 230. And 6'1", maybe even. Imagine being 6'7", 320.
6'2" with
you gotta leave. Hair. Okay.
6'2" with the spiky hair.
Yeah.
You get the extra inch.
Right. I did have spiked hair back then, even more so. That'd be like, you got to leave. They'd be like, make me. I'd be like, great. Here we go again. Okay. But Sally walks up. They're like, you got to leave. Like, oh, okay. Where's the door? Where should I go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Nope. No problem. Got no problems with you, man. No problems whatsoever. But again, back to the Pro Bowl. Good job. Let's get into some stats. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mag, man. Love them all. Hey, if you, I told you to put the number in. It's an important number, 904-822-2245. 822-2245. Put it into your phone if you're in Northeast Florida. Because if you ever get thrown in jail, in the clink, my friend Chris Lucero will get you out in a blink. And I know that rhymes, but it's true. It's a very, very true statement. Outback Marine Construction. Hey, you got to repair a lift, boathouse, what have you. They take care of it. Go see them. Outback Marine Construction down in Palm Valley, Ponte Vedra, but they service all the waterways here in Northeast Florida. Solomon Ventures. Listen, it's below wholesale. And some really good items, from furniture to household goods to food to clothing. They've got it all right there at great prices on the corner of Atlantic and Art Museum Drive. Carbon Man Flooring, it's LVP, baby. And it's also carpet, and it's also hardwood, and it's also the best at the lowest prices. Carpet Man Flooring, they're on Wells Road and on St. John's Bluff Road as well. Azar Sausage, already talked about them. Phenomenal. Homegrown, down home, third generation, family owned. That rhymed too. Look at that. I'm on a roll today. But had their sausage the other night. Absolutely fantastic. Check them out at Winn-Dixie, Publix, and other local grocers. Graffiti Burger Bar was there last night. I tell you, the menu continues to get better. The new ownership and management, they are changing that place. So if you've been there before and you didn't have a good experience, whatever, give them another try because you're going to like it. The food has been outstanding. I've had people there during our show on Thursday nights and all throughout the week watching great games. You got TVs all over the place. Absolutely fantastic. Right there on 3rd Street in Jags Beach. J-Dog Junk Removal. Hey, they're also in the dumpster business, right? So if you're a roofing company or if you're a home builder and you need, that dumpster there and a company come and pick it up, veteran owned and operated. They've got 12 yarders, 12 yarders. the cubes or whatever they call them, big old dumpsters. Check them out at jdogjunkremoval.com. And not last but not least, at least for this show, Truck Accident Law Firm, man. All they do is truck accidents. All they do is protect you on the highways and on the roads, and all they care about is safety. They do a great look. They're not all over the TV. They're not going to do all this stuff, marketing. God bless the companies that do. But they rely on Tommy Mac to get their message out there. And I love those guys, Bill, Joel. They're good dudes, and they've been doing it a long time, and they help people in those situations. Check them out at truckcrashlaw.com. All right, let's get into the stats. Jags versus the Titans. I tell you, it still bothers me. Last week, we're great on third down. Both sides. Offense was like 45%. Defense was 7%. Okay? But that was against Carolina. So that's got to keep that in perspective. Great domination. Hope we can do that up in Tennessee. That'd be even better. Make me feel even better about the team. But we're still we're just at 37% conversion rate. A little bit uptick, but last week helped. Defense has been maintaining 35% basically throughout the year. That's very good. I got to give the D a lot of credit on that one because that's getting off the field. That's doing your job on third down. Getting off the field on third down. It's so critical. So every 3, they're giving the ball back 2 to their offense. That's really good. Now the offense doesn't repay them. They're trying, but they don't repay them. But so I don't know if that really helps them that much, but credit to the defense for getting it done on third down. Fourth down, we're 13 of 26. On offense, 21 of 40 on defense. They're not afraid to go against us on defense, that's for sure. Let's look at the other side, Tennessee. Sorry about the squint. I left my readers at home. I was telling Graham, I washed my glasses. He's like, you washed them? What do you mean? He thought I left them in my pants pocket, and I said, no, it's soap and water. You got to clean those things, man. They get dirty. They leave little marks on you. I don't like it. So I keep them clean, and I left them on the dish towel. And that ADD, CTE, you know what I'm talking about. All right, on the other side, third down, they're not very good, 32% on third down. They're off. Look, Tannehill's last game, too. They can't protect him. You know, I'll tell you who's you got to give a lot of credit to, in my opinion, is DeAndre Hopkins. He's had a year, man. And I know we were already loaded. Maybe we couldn't fit him in. But, man, who wouldn't want that guy on their team? He had a great year.
I don't know why all the reports in the offseason where he wants to go to a contender. He wants to go somewhere he can win. No, he didn't. He wanted to he wanted to get paid.
Yeah. Which is fine. Get paid.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
He's had quite the year, man. I mean, he's 1,000 yards, almost 15 a catch, 14.9. It's pretty good.
That's really good.
And 6 touchdowns for Hopkins. And I remember people asked you, like, he doesn't have it. Like, I don't know, man. He runs great routes, got great hands, and he's got some dog in him, man. He's a fighter.
He's always been, like, QB proof.
Yeah.
Even when there's been bad QBs around him, he always produces.
Yep. Well, he'll catch everything. That's you have a radius around him.
And he gets open fast.
And he gets open.
Yeah.
Knows how to set people. And he's tough. Not afraid to go across. All right, their defense around us, they're about 37%. They have a pretty good defense overall. Their defense has 45 sacks. Harold Landry, what a comeback. I mean, a year ago, blew out his Achilles, got 10.5 sacks. Pretty damn good, man. It's a tough injury to come back. Danico Autry, stud, 11.5 sacks. They do not have Jeffrey Simmons this time around. That's big for us because he's a game wrecker. We need a game wrecker. Interior. Do we? We don't. We don't. No disrespect to the guys. And I think Roy Robertson Harris is playing some good football. But we don't have a wrecker like that. We don't. We don't
the guy
have
that lives in the backfield, collapses the pocket.
No.
Can't run with him on the field. We don't have a guy like that.
We don't have a guy like that.
The last guy we had.
We need a guy like that.
The last guy we had in that category was probably Darius when he was here. That was a while ago now.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, who do we have?
You got to have it.
I agree. I totally agree.
Just like when we were talking earlier, like that nose tackle in a 3-4, he's got to be an absolute beast. That's what they play. Now, Simmons, they move around, but he'll get up on that nose all day long. You can't move him. You look at Philly, they got 2 of them. But Philly's cracking. I don't know what's going on with them. They gotta get a comeback here. All right, let's look at let's see. So they've given up 62 sacks. They have 45 total. I just read you their top guys. They got a linebacker, Al Shahir. He's a good player. He's got a lot of tackles. I think he's their leading tackler. He'll get after it. So they got players. Like, you let them hang around. I'm not saying they're going to beat you, but you don't want to let them hanging around. Get up early, put the dagger in the sails. They're going to be fired up early. That's what teams do in this situation. In the NFL with the Jags, who are the only team I really played for, I only witnessed this, experienced it once. The first year, we were 4-12. And we hosted the Browns on Christmas Eve day. And we won that game and ended up 4-12. And everybody's happy. And we went home and had a great Christmas, and the season was over. Right? I was in a different position because I'm still just living a dream. And it's my first year, and all I cared about was doing it again and making the team again and all that stuff. But it's tough. It's tough. And when you come out fighting, because you will, because it's in you, and most guys, a lot of guys will fight all the way through, don't get me wrong. But if the dagger's put in them early, they start looking at that clock like, man, I can't wait for it to hit 0 and be done with this season and move on to next year. So get after them early, and we'll see how we can do that. Of course, we'll find out who's at quarterback. All right, let's go points. They score 17 a game. They give up about 22. We score 22 and give up about 21. So we'll see. I think we beat them decisively. I'll give a score at the end. I haven't even thought of it. I'll just let it come to me, and then I'll take it into the radio world as well. All right? You got a score yet in mind? Don't say it, but do you have one?
Yeah.
Do you really, or do you just come up with one right then and there?
Well, I just came up with one, but now I have one.
I love the honesty.
But I knew.
You have an idea.
I knew the type of game I think will happen.
Yeah.
So.
I'll tell you this. I don't see the Titans scoring more than 10 points. That's my prediction. We'll see. All right, let's see. Where am I at? So interceptions. We've got 12. All Trev. Our defense has 15. Impressive. You know what's not impressive? I wrote down here. No sacks for Devin Lloyd this year.
Man.
0. Now, he could have had a few interceptions if he didn't have the brace, right? The cast or whatever. I was surprised by that. They got to bring him more. Aluakin can blitz, too. I love the interior blitz. Those guys both can get to the quarterback, but I was surprised he doesn't have any sacks registered. Let's see. They've thrown 10 picks collectively. And their defense, how about this? Only 4 picks. 45 sacks with only 4 picks.
Oh, you only have 4 picks?
4.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they
do have a really poor pass defense.
They give up 7.4 yards attempts, so that's down the field a little bit at 68% completion percentage. So
that ain't very good.
Well, I just read off DeAndre, right? He's at 15. So he's the guy. The other guys are bringing him down a little bit. Their tight end is pretty good as well. It's a tough name. Chigozium.
Oh, Chig Okonkwo?
Yeah.
They just call him Chig.
Chig. And then, how do you say his last name?
Okonkwo?
Yeah, Okonkwo. Yeah. He's a good player. He's got some, he can hurt you.
He is good.
And the tight ends hurt us. They hurt us. So, let's see. They're -7 in the turnover ratio. We are -2. So we've come down. We were up there on 9 or something. I think we were at 9 at one time. So we've come down. That's good. Got to hold on to the ball. Listen, for me, it's still about the psyche of this team. You know, we have talent. I know we have talent. We have enough talent to do damage in the playoffs. I truly believe that. But we've got to be on our best game mentally. We just got to. And everything else, like awareness. You know, like holding on to the football, like not letting it go, you know, not being careless with the ball, you know, knowing that they're coming. I'm not just talking Trevor, but even Trevor, knowing they're coming. Get down. Whatever you got to do, get out of Dodge. Get back to Trevor ball if you're playing. Hopefully, I want to see him because I want to see him have momentum. I want to see him go have a game like he had last year up there and then win the game decisively. And then they come home and they get home in front of Cleveland like it looks like. And he's feeling good. You know, hey, if it's CJ, great, we can win with CJ. But I want my quarterback to have some momentum going into the playoffs. So I hope he's healthy and ready to go.
And with Cam back, you're getting hopefully a little bit more push in the run game.
That's right.
You might get Kirk back next week, might get Zabe. All of a sudden, it's like, all right, the band's back together.
Yeah. I want to see Ezra and Cam together. That'll be interesting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like Ezra as a guard. I think he can play tackle, but I like him as a guard. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a great game. We both run about the same. We stop the run about the same. We're about the same on third down on both sides of the ball, about the same on fourth down. They give up a lot more sacks. So, hey, go feed. Hey, didn't I say Josh needs like 3 sacks last Friday? Didn't I say something like that? Check the tape. I think I did. And he got 3. So go get another 3, Josh, and decisively win the sack game this year. You're right there. You're right there. You got every chance to do it. And Trayvon, look, man, I'm really impressed by that young man. And I know the sacks are at 9, which obviously everyone's gonna be like, well, that's a hell of a year, no doubt about it. But you could see him improve. You could see, and Josh too. Josh has been in the backfield almost all year. It feels like he's been a disruptive force pretty much. They work on their craft. And you look at Trayvon and the development. He went from, hey, I could bull rush everybody to like, hey, I can't, to, hey, I'm going to pretend like I am and then dip around and use my athleticism. This guy is a ridiculous athlete at his size. And I do want to see him inside. They don't use him enough inside, but I like what Dave Campo said. Coach Campo, who knows the game tremendously well. No one can block him one-on-one as a guard in a pass rush. I agree. I'd like to see that. Maybe we'll see more of him and get after it. I got him winning, Grammage, and I got him winning because I believe in the psyche of this team. Now, I didn't like what you did in that 4-game losing stretch. I didn't like the way you lost. You were making mistakes. There were mental errors, missed assignments, bad timing. Coach is going to say whatever they say to the media. I'm giving it to you straight right here. You did. You were having miscue after miscue after miscue, and it was downright disgusting, in my opinion, as far as an NFL professional team. Having debates with people on Twitter. It's the coaches, it's the players. Look, it's somewhere in the middle, right? But the players got to be held accountable for knowing everything that they got to know. Everything. You got to know it. You got to know it. You got to know tendencies. You got to know formations. You got to know where you're at on the field. You got to know downs. You just got to know. That's your job to know. So that was the trouble part. But now, that was then, this is now, and now it's time to go up to Tennessee and kick that ass and come home AFC South Division champions 2 times in a row and get ready for the playoffs right here at home. I want nothing more than that, and I hope that happens. That'll do it for us this time around. Got to jump on Jaguars today like I do every Friday with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, who's not fat. It's PH, by the way, and Pockets, the producer. So looking forward to that. Y'all have a great day. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. And LFG Jags, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Until next time, stay safe, be cool, and we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.